All right, let's talk about one of the most incredible tools in all of modern medicine, magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI. I mean, this is literally a window into the human body, a way to get this breathtakingly clear view of everything that's going on inside us. But here's the big question, right? How can we possibly see inside ourselves with this much detail and do it without using any harmful radiation? I mean, we all know about X-rays and CT scans, but this is something totally different. And that's the puzzle we're going to solve. Okay, so let's crack open that window and really get a handle on what an MRI actually is. You could say it's pretty much the safest, most powerful peek inside our bodies that doctors have ever had. So, at its core, magnetic resonance imaging is what we call a non-invasive technique. What that means is it uses a super powerful magnetic field and some computer-generated radio waves to build these incredibly detailed pictures of your organs and tissues. It's all just physics, you know? No cutting, and this is the big one, absolutely no radiation. And that right there, that's what makes an MRI such a game changer. No ionizing radiation. Think about it. An X-ray? Fantastic for looking at bones, those dense structures. But an MRI? Oh, it's the absolute superstar when it comes to soft tissues. We're talking about your brain, your muscles, all your organs, seen with a precision so sharp it can actually spot inflammation. Okay, so how does this magic even work? It sounds super complicated, right? But the basic idea behind it is actually pretty elegant. And it all comes down to something our bodies are absolutely full of. Yup, you're looking at it. Around 70% of your body is just water. And inside every single one of those water molecules is the real star of our show today, the hydrogen atom. Our bodies are packed with billions upon billions of these tiny things, and they are the key to this whole process. So here's how it all goes down. First, when you go into that big MRI machine, its massive magnet makes all those tiny hydrogen atoms in your body line up, almost like a bunch of tiny compass needles all pointing in the same direction. Then, step 2, a pulse of radio waves is sent in and it knocks them all out of alignment. But here's the really clever part. As soon as that radio pulse stops, the atoms try to snap right back to where they were. And as they realign, they give off a little signal. A computer picks up all those signals, and they're different depending on what kind of tissue they're coming from, and translates that data into the super detailed images we can see. So now we know how it works. Let's get to the really cool part, what it can show us. It's time to take a little tour of the human body MRI style and see what this amazing technology can actually reveal. And our first stop has to be the command center, right? The most complex and vital organ we have, the brain. For neurologists, I mean, the MRI it's an absolutely essential tool. It gives them a look inside our heads like nothing else ever could. The amount of detail you can see is just stunning. Doctors can clearly tell the difference between the cortex, the brainstem, the cerebellum, all these crucial parts. And it's that incredible clarity that lets them diagnose so many different conditions. Everything from tumors to seeing the damage from a stroke or what's known as an AVC, and even to watch how degenerative diseases change over time. Okay, from the brain, let's move our tour down to the spine. This is another one of those areas where the kind of detail you get from an MRI is just completely unmatched. You can see all the delicate stuff in there with amazing clarity. The spinal cord itself, those little cushions between the vertebrae called intervertebral discs, and even the tiny nerve roots that branch out. This is exactly how a doctor can spot really common and really painful problems like a herniated disc or a pinched nerve. All right, for our last stop on this tour, we're going to look inside the thorax and abdomen at all those vital organs that keep us going every single day. An MRI gives doctors a totally safe, non-invasive way to check on the health of the heart, the liver, the kidneys, you name it. This tech can spot almost anything, from tumors to inflammation, which makes it absolutely vital for catching problems early. And it's also a huge help for surgeons, letting them plan out procedures with incredible accuracy. But you know, the story of an MRI doesn't just stop when a diagnosis is made. Not at all. In fact, a lot of the time, that's just the beginning of how it helps a patient. See, an MRI isn't just a single snapshot in time. You have to think of it more like a dynamic tool, something doctors can use to follow a patient's health over months or even years. This is how doctors can see, with objective proof, if a treatment is actually working. They can watch how a chronic disease is progressing. They can evaluate in near real time how a patient is responding to therapy. It gives them the solid data they need to say, yes, this plan is working, or nope, we need to try something else. So when you boil it all down, it's a huge benefit for everyone involved. Doctors get this unbelievable clarity, which helps them make smarter decisions. In patients, they get safer diagnostics and care that's more personalized and more effective. It really is a win-win for the world of medicine.
And that really leaves us with one final, pretty fascinating question to think about. When a technology like MRI gives us such a clear window into our own bodies, revealing all its secrets without ever making a cut, what comes next? What other incredible breakthroughs in medicine are just waiting for us right around the corner?